We will start looking at the Google SecOps dashboard. Here we have a high priority alert, so let's check out the details. By selecting our alert of interest, we can see some of the more important aspects of our case. From here, let's pivot to our case details. When we navigate back to the case and open up the overview, we can see some pretty important information that Gemini has summed up for us here. This information can be very helpful, but first, let us check out what happened on the endpoint that triggered our alert. As you can see, our rule found two events. First, we have our process launch, and if we select it, we can see additional details. And if we want to know more about the file, we can select that and check out some more information. Once we have finished looking at our events, let's go back to our main overview. Let's take a look and see what Gemini has for us. Gemini has given us the context of the alert, showing us why the alert may be cause for concern. Next, it gives us a summary of the events, and then finally, what we should probably do next. Now, remember, Gemini isn't perfect. Always check your answers for possible inaccuracies. But we are intelligence people. Let's see what GTI has for us. Once we scroll down to the GTI enrichment portion, we can see that APT43 has been associated with this malicious file. And as we expand the details here, we can see more information about the group. We can also select the malicious hash file here. That looks a little small, doesn't it? Let's get a pop-out window so we can do research easier. All your GTI data will be here. Now, as you can see, this file has been assigned a very high threat score. We also have additional details about the malicious file available. All this GTI data, and you don't even have to leave the SecOps dashboard. But if you wanted to work within GTI directly, you can always go there. Once we are in GTI, we can see much more data about our malicious hash. We can explore additional details about the file that shows us specific information, like when the file was created or how it was compiled. This data can help with hunt missions and clustering, which we will talk about later. Next, we will look at relations. Notice those malicious domains? This can help for investigations. Next, we look at associations. See how we could dive deeper into some additional DPRK research? Let's pop over to what behavior our file exhibits. We will dive much deeper into MITRE in a following session, but as you can see here, the TTPs have been mapped already. Additionally, if available, you can see screenshots of the files here. If you have access to vendor sandbox data, it will also show that in this tab. You can find strings and hex in our content tab here, and here you can see a pretty robust timeline of what the hash was doing over time, including when it was first seen and last seen. Finally, we have our community tab, which shows additions from community members about the file that may be beneficial. Once we are done doing research in GTI, let's head back to SecOps. When we return to our case, let's see what we should do next. We can take the advice from our Gemini summary, but we might need to do more immediate actions and make sure we stop the activity. So let's pop back into our original file overview to check our possible next steps. As you can see on our right-hand side here, we have two immediate actions we can take from our security tools. We can disable the affected accounts, or we can scroll down and do some more pivoting research. We can also scroll up here and take a look at a playbook. This is basically a way to replicate adversarial behavior. Once we look at our playbook, there is another place within SecOps that utilizes GTI. Welcome to Emerging Threats. This dashboard allows users to see up-to-date information about emerging threats, whether it APT activity or a new strain of malware, and if rules or indicators of compromise have been applied to them. Within these emerging threats, GTI data is used to populate the research to help defenders just like us to identify possible concerns. With tracking emergent threat activity, CTI analysts can help other parts of the organization filter through the noise of new threats. As you can see, the integration of GTI within our security platform ensures that our networks stay secure,